All right, today we are going to deconstruct a truly epic piece of ancient poetry. Seriously, it's this incredible story all about power, pride, and the spectacular fall of a tyrant. It's intense, it's dramatic, and we're going to peel back its layers one by one.
So, to really get into the spirit of this thing, just imagine this for a moment. What does it actually sound like when the entire world breathes a collective sigh of relief? When a truly oppressive ruler is finally gone. What happens next? Well, this chapter paints a seriously vivid picture of exactly that.
Okay, so what's interesting is that the story doesn't begin with the tyrant himself. Nope. It starts with his victims. It opens with this powerful prophecy of liberation, a direct promise to all the people who've been suffering under his rule. It's all about setting the stage, establishing just how deep the need for freedom and justice really is.
And here is that promise, stated so explicitly. It's a promise of rest from sorrow, from fear, and from the hard bondage they were forced to serve in. And look, this isn't just some vague, wishy-washy hope. The text presents this as a future certainty. This promise of relief, well, it's the catalyst for absolutely everything that follows. So, how does this promise actually play out? Well, once the tyrant is finally gone, the prophecy calls for the people to take up a proverb against him. And this is not just some simple statement, okay? It's a taunting song, a poetic takedown of the fallen king of Babylon, a full-on celebration of his downfall. And why are they celebrating so hard? The text makes it crystal clear. It's because his power, symbolized by the staff and the scepters, has been completely and utterly shattered. It's not just that he's gone, his entire system of control and oppression has been dismantled. And the effect is immediate. It's universal. The text says the whole earth is at rest. It's quiet. And then, that silence is just broken by this global eruption of singing. I mean, what an incredibly powerful image of shared liberation, right?
And this next part is where it gets really, really interesting. The text actually personifies nature itself. The fir trees and the great cedars of Lebanon, the exact kind of trees that powerful kings would harvest for their massive building projects. They are said to be rejoicing. They're literally saying, hey, since you've been taken down, no one's coming to chop us down anymore. It's just a brilliant way to show that his tyranny was so destructive that even the natural world felt it and is now celebrating. All right, so the scene makes a huge, dramatic shift. We've just seen the reaction on Earth, right? Now we're going to follow the king into the afterlife. But, spoiler alert, instead of some royal reception, what he gets is a pretty humiliating welcome to the underworld. And the imagery here is just fantastic. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. The entire underworld is roused, it's stirred up, it's waking up the spirits of all the other dead kings, the chief ones of the earth, just to greet this one newcomer. So what do these former world leaders have to say to him? Do they welcome him? Nope. They mock him. They taunt him with these questions, basically pointing out that this great, fearsome king is now just as weak and powerless as they are. Turns out, death really is the ultimate equalizer.
This right here just captures the contrast perfectly. On one side, you've got the man who used to make the earth tremble, the one who shook entire kingdoms. And then on the other side, his new reality. He's weak, his royal splendor, what the text calls his pomp, is gone, and his body is dishonored, like a carcass trodden under feet. The fall from grace just could not be more complete. Okay, so just as we're laser-focused on this one mortal king, the poem takes this sudden, sharp turn. It's like a major plot twist. The camera zooms way out, from this one earthly tyrant to a cosmic figure. And the whole narrative transforms into this timeless allegory about a rebellion in heaven. And here it is. This is one of the most famous verses in this whole body of work. The focus shifts from the king of Babylon to Lucifer, son of the morning. Now, that name itself, it means light bringer or morning star, which implies someone of incredible brilliance and a super high station. So now the taunt isn't about falling from a throne, it's about falling from heaven itself. So this immediately begs the question, right? What could possibly cause such a magnificent being to be cast out of heaven? Well, the poem gives us the answer with a pretty chilling clarity. It all came down to pride. And it's laid out in these 5 incredibly ambitious I will statements. And you can just see the escalation here. First, it's I will ascend into heaven. Then it's I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Then
I will sit on the mount of the congregation. It gets even higher. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. And finally, the ultimate goal. I will be like the Most High. It's a perfect step-by-step portrait of just completely unchecked pride. So after that final ultimate declaration of pride, what's the immediate consequence? This, a swift, devastating verdict, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. Boom, no negotiation, no second chances. The absolute peak of his ambition is met with the absolute depth of his fall. And then, just like that, the focus snaps right back from the allegorical story of Lucifer to the very concrete judgment on the kingdom of Babylon. See, the fall of the king was really just the beginning. Now the prophecy declares an absolute final verdict on his entire empire. And this judgment is total. The prophecy says that not just the king, but his name, his remnant, his son, and his nephew will all be cut off. His children are going to face slaughter, so they can't rise up and repeat their father's evil deeds. The message couldn't be clearer. The entire legacy of this evil dynasty is going to be wiped from the history books. The text uses this incredibly vivid phrase to describe just how final this judgment is. I will sweep it with the besom of destruction. So what's a besom? It's basically a broom, usually made of twigs. The image is of God literally sweeping Babylon off the face of the earth, leaving absolutely nothing behind. It's such a powerful metaphor for total, complete annihilation. And this verse really gets to the heart of this whole final section. It just underscores the absolute certainty of this prophecy. It says, "Surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass. And as I have purposed, so shall it stand." Basically, whatever God has thought will happen. Whatever God has purposed will stand. This frames the whole thing not as a prediction, but as a completely unchangeable decree. So as we start to wrap this up, you can really see the full arc of the story, right? It starts with the fall of a single tyrant, then it expands into this massive allegorical tale about Lucifer's pride, and it all ends on this even bigger theme of an unstoppable divine plan, one that makes sure justice will, in the end, prevail. So what are the big takeaways here? Well, first, that ultimate pride, that desire to be like the Most High, is shown to be the ultimate self-destructive sin. Second, justice, even if it's delayed, is absolute. Third, oppression, no matter how powerful it seems, always has an expiration date. And last, this text uses some incredibly powerful poetry to tell a really universal story. And this all brings us to the final, powerful question the chapter leaves us with. And it's a rhetorical question, of course. After laying out the fall of kings, the fall of empires, and even the fall from heaven, the text asks, who could possibly stand against this divine purpose? His hand is stretched out, and who shall turn it back? It's just this final, resounding declaration of ultimate authority, leaving us all to think about the true nature of power and purpose.